This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so essentially, this is the page that you should be on. So there was an email sent to everyone to create an account with code.org, and hopefully the all you participants have actually made that account. So essentially, what you want to do is you want to be on my dashboard. You want to be on this page. And just a reminder, if you have any questions or you would like me to repeat something, please do let me know. So essentially, this is the dashboard that you should be on. And what you want to do is you want to go to the top navigation bar over here and click Course Catalog. And then essentially, what you want to do now is you want to scroll down and click Grades K to 5. And then after you've done this, what you want to do is you want to actually scroll all the way down and click on this that says Course C. And then you should be here. So up till now, is everyone okay, or would anyone like me to repeat something? And just please let me know in the chat if there's anything. So I'll wait a bit for to allow everyone to get there and allow everyone some time to get to this point. All right, so I'm going to now proceed. Just please let me know if you have any questions. Um, and if you have arrived and if you're a new participant who just arrived right now, welcome. Just a reminder once again to have your camera and webcam off at all times during this session. And if you do have any questions or would like to make any comments, please do type it in the chat so then I can unmute you, or you can just type your question in the chat as well. So what we're going to do is we are going to go down from there and we're going to go to something called events. So as you can see, events, and you're going to click on build a flappy game. So as you can see, there is a build a flappy game over here, and you're going to click on one. And if you do that, you should arrive to this video over here. So I'm just going to wait a bit because I know there have been some people who just joined. So just to give everyone some time to all get to this point so we can all start together, I'm just going to give a few minutes for those people to do so. Okay, so hopefully everyone has been able to make it to this point. And of course, please do let me know in the chat if you were having any trouble. So what we're going to do now is we're going to scroll down and click this orange continue button. And what we're going to do is we are going to be at this page now once you click that. And there's going to be kind of a message here. So just click OK. I'm going to discard that. So just click OK, and you should see this page over here, and it should just have this when click box. So welcome to the tutoring session, everyone. And essentially what we're going to do today is we're going to be building a Flappy Bird game, like I said before, using coding. So I assume that a lot of people here are kind of new to coding and new to what coding can do. And essentially, hopefully, during this tutoring session, we can learn more about coding and what it can do and what kind of things are needed for coding. So this is something called block coding or scratch coding, and it's essentially like typing coding, except you drag blocks, which kind of represent different events and different functions that your code can perform. And essentially, coding is kind of like a cooking recipe. So if you think of a cooking recipe, let's say we're making a cupcake. So in order to actually make the cupcake, what we have to do is we need to put in a bunch of ingredients. So there's a step that we have to follow, a step of instructions that we have to follow in order to actually create the cupcake. First, we might have to get the bowl, and then we might have to put like flour in it, and then eggs, and then sugar, and then might have to mix that all up, and then we might have to pour it inside the oven, put inside the oven. So there's a lot of steps that you have to go through in order to create your final product. And that's kind of how coding is as well. There's a lot of steps that you need to go through as a coder in order to actually come through with your final product. And your final product can be anything. It can be a game, it can be an app, it can be pretty much anything you want it to be. So in our case, our final product is actually a in Flappy Bird game. So that's what we're going to be creating. And essentially, I see that there have been some new people joining. So welcome. So essentially, we are right now on the interface that we're going to be using, but please do let me know in the chat if you do need help getting here. And I can definitely repeat those instructions again. So currently, um, we are trying to build a Flappy Bird game. And as I mentioned before, there's a set of instructions that we need to go through in order to actually proceed and receive our final product. And I do see a message in the chat over here, and someone has asked, how do we get to this page? So since there were some new people who just joined, um, I'm going to go ahead and repeat those steps again. So one moment here. All right, so if you were already on this page, don't worry about it, just stay there. But these are for people who may have not gotten there yet. So what you want to do is there was an email sent out to everyone to create an account with code.org. So essentially, what we want to do is um, with your account that you created, you want to log into that code.org account, and then you want to be on My Dashboard. So this is kind of the home page that you would see once you log in. And once you log in and you are on this page, what you want to do is you want to go to the top left corner and click on this course catalog button. So let's click on it. And then what we want to do is once you click on course catalog, what you want to do is you want to then scroll down, and you should be on this grades K to 5 box. Click learn more, and then you should go down, scroll down, and you should be looking at course C. It should say course C. Click on that. And then once you're there, what you want to do is you want to go down to this lesson called events. And then what you want to do is you want to click code your own Flappy game. So you want to be at this build a Flappy game box and click 1. And then essentially this video should show up. Just go ahead and click continue over there. And then you should be at this page. So hopefully everyone has been able to get to this point. And as always, please type it in the chat if you were not able to get here. So I'm just going to continue. So essentially, what we're doing is we're basically following a set of instructions in order to receive a final product. Our final product here is creating this Flappy Bird game. So what you want to do is we want to be able to code our game in a way that will be able to achieve our final product, which is creating our game. So this is what we call block coding, and basically it's taking coding in the form of blocks. So as you can see, each block kind of looks like a set of instructions. As you can see, it says flap a normal amount, play the wing sound. And these are all sets of instructions that we can implement or we can put inside our code in order to make our code do specific things. So as you can see, this is a box that says when click. So when something is clicked, let's make it let's make our bird flap a normal amount and play a wing sound. All right, so if we do this and we run it, let's see what happens. And I'll explain to everyone what actually happens and the code behind it. So as you can see, whenever I click the screen, the bird flaps up. And let's see what happens when we remove these two blocks. So when something is clicked, if we run this, as you can see, even when I was clicking something, the bird would not flap up because we didn't implement or we didn't add any code for it to do so. So if we add these two blocks over here, what this actually does is it says that when we click the screen, our bird will flap a normal amount and the wing sound will play. You might not be able to hear the music through my screen, but if you try this in your own computer, you'll definitely be able to hear the wing sound over there. So essentially, go ahead and try that. And once you're done, you should be trying to hit that black target above. And if you do that, it says, congratulations, you completed puzzle 2. So I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to play around and experiment with that. Also, I want to tell everyone that you can also change the amount that it flaps. So we can say it flaps a normal amount, but we can also say it flaps a small amount. So if you click that, as you can see, it doesn't go as high when you click the bird. So go ahead and try that out. And I want to tell everyone that this actually is able to be read like a sentence. So these are a set of instructions. And as I said before, this is kind of like a cooking recipe. There is a set of instructions that you need to go through in order to receive a final product. So essentially, when I say when click, so when the screen is clicked, our bird will flap a normal amount and the wing sound will play. And when that happens, we receive our final product, which is a Flappy Bird. So go ahead and try that by yourself right now. And if you have any questions, please do type them in the chat, or you can just say you have a question and I can unmute you so you can ask. Okay, so hopefully everyone has been able to experiment with that a bit. So this is kind of the first step of getting into building these kinds of games. You have to be able to know what the code can do and what you're writing. So we know that our objective or our aim here with our app is to make our bird flap a normal amount and play a sound when you click on the screen. And we were able to do that. So now let's go on to the next exercise. And in order to actually go on to the next exercise, what you have to do is you have to go to the top. As you can see, there's these bunch of circles over here. So just go to the top of that and click this number 3 practice. So if you hover over it, that should happen. So you should click the third circle and if you click that, you should actually be brought to this page over here. So essentially, now what happens is we have to now implement more things and put more things inside our code in order to make our bird work. So as you can see, the black target now is in the top right corner. But if you can see, when we actually start the game, um, we are not able to actually get to the target because our bird is not moving. All we can do is make it jump up and down. So in order to actually make our bird move left and right, we have to be able to add more code and give our computer more instructions in order to actually do this. So that's where we have this when run event. So in the event that our bird is running, we're going to set our speed to normal. Let's try running that. And now, as you can see, um, our our code is actually running. It's moving to the right. So if I click now, I'm able to actually be able to make my bird move to the right. And now we're actually able to hit this target. So let's go ahead and try that. And try to see if you can hit the target with your Flappy Bird. And while everyone is trying that, I want to tell everyone something that will help you visualize this and help you understand this a bit better. So, let's say that you guys got invited to a birthday party, or let's actually say that it's your birthday. So, in the event that it is your birthday, you would receive cake. So this is kind of like that. This when run block and this when click block are kind of like events. So in the event that the when run block is put here, the speed is set to normal. And in the event that the when click block is put here, our bird will flap a normal amount. And just like that, in the event that it's our birthday, we will receive cake. Or in the event that it's our birthday, we will get presents. So it's kind of like that. That's exactly what an event is. So in the event that we have this happening, something else will also happen. So that's what we want to think of it as. And that's essentially what we are doing with our code here. We're creating our game by using these event blocks. So if this feels a bit too easy right now, no worries, this will get a bit more challenging as we progress. So what we're actually doing is with these exercises that we're doing right now, we're kind of building on skills, small skills that we can use for our final project today, which is going to be building a fully working Flappy Bird app. So it's good to know these things so we can be able to build that bigger app at the end. So I'll give everyone a few moments to just try and play around with this. I haven't changed the speed, but you can change the speed to very fast if you want. Let's see what happens if we do that. You can see it goes really fast now. So you can go ahead and experiment with it if you want to, and I'll give everyone a few minutes to do that. If you have any questions, please type it in the chat. Okay, so hopefully everyone has had the chance to play around with this and make this part of their app work. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on to the next level by clicking on the next circle. So if you hover over it, it should say 4. And just click on that. And if you click on that, what you should do is you should be in this screen over here. And you should actually have um, these blocks. So I'm just going to show everyone how this one would work. Okay, so right now, what happens is, let's see what happens right now. So when we run it, and let's say that we lost the game. So we lose the game when we let go of our bird and it falls down. So I'm gonna just try to lose the game. But as you can see, nothing really happens. We don't really lose because we haven't really coded anything to tell our game to lose when we hit the ground. So we have one more event here that says when hit the ground, if you could see. So it says when hit the ground, and we have nothing underneath that. So when our bird hits the ground, we want to end the game. So go ahead and drag an end game block over here and try to click the reset button and run this. Let's see what happens now. So let's see if we can try to lose. And it says game over. As you can see, it says game over. So that's another event. So just like that birthday example I showed, if it's your birthday, you get presents. That's exactly how this is too. If our bird hits the ground, we lose and the game ends. So that's what we want to try to think of here. So go ahead and see if you can code that part in. Okay, everyone. So hopefully everyone has been able to make their game end when you hit the ground. And please let me know if you were having any difficulties with that. So now let's move on to our next level over here. So you can click this orange continue button, or if that button doesn't show up for you, you can go to the top as always and click the fifth circle here. So once you do that, you should see this page. Please let me know if you cannot see this page or have any difficulties with that. But what we're going to do now is we are going to continue with this Flappy Bird game app. So essentially, we have obstacles right now. So let's see. As you can see, let me see if I can try to hit one of these blocks. So there's blocks, and I'm going to try to hit it. So as you can see, what happens is when I actually try to hit that block over here, that obstacle, my bird is just going right through it. So that's not what's actually supposed to happen. When we actually hit these blocks, the game is supposed to end. So that's what we want to do. We want to kind of fix this part of our game over here and make sure that our bird doesn't just fly through the obstacle like it is right now. We want to actually have our game end when we hit the obstacle because we should actually be losing if we hit that block like I just did. So there is yet another event here. Another event, it's called when hit an obstacle. So this is another event. So when our bird hits the obstacle, we should end the game because we can't hit an obstacle. So let's try to run this again. And now if I hit this block, if I hit this obstacle, as you can see, it uh, it fails me and it says you have uh, hit the block and now the game is over. So let's try that again. As you can see, our bird just falls down and it's getting hit by the block, so our game is ending. So go ahead and try to use the when hit an obstacle event to make the game end when you hit the obstacle. And please type in the chat if you have any questions at all. Okay, so hopefully everyone has been able to make their game end when you hit the obstacle. So it should look something like this. You should hit this green column and um, you should get this message over here. So once you do get that, please click the orange continue button so we can continue. And or if you don't get that pop-up, you can always go to the top and click the sixth circle over here. So now that we got that, we are going to now start building our official Flappy game app. So before this, we were kind of learning skills. We're kind of learning things to make our app work and things that we'd be using later on to create a bigger, better app. So now we're going to kind of start putting those in place. We're going to start using some of those things to make a bigger app. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at another new event, which is called a when pass obstacle event. So basically, what this event will do is when we pass an obstacle, this event will score a point, and then we'd be able to see our score. So let's see. So when we pass an obstacle, that's this event over here. So when an obstacle is passed, we are going to score a point. We want to score a point when we pass an obstacle. So as you can see, there's a scoreboard that appears. And I did not pass that time, but let's try that again. I'm going to try my best to go through the obstacle. So as you can see, when you actually do pass the obstacle, you do score a point. And it says, congratulations, you completed puzzle 6. So go ahead and try to see if you can actually get that going for you. This is another event like that birthday party example I just showed. So when you pass the obstacle, you score a point. When you hit an obstacle, the game ends. When you hit the ground, the game ends. When you run, you're at normal speed. And when you click the screen, you flap a normal amount. So these are all events that are used really commonly in coding. So when we do some more advanced coding later on, some harder stuff later on, we'll actually be able to see a lot of these things. Because everything is like a set of instructions in coding, and everything leads to something else. So when you code one thing, something else will happen, like we see over here. So go ahead and see if you can try that out. Okay, so hopefully everyone has been able to get that part working for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click this circle up here and the next circle, and it should say number 7 mini project Flappy game. And then just click on that. So now we're of course going to continue off of what we did last time. So what we're going to do is we're going to be able to click the down arrow inside the flap normal amount block to pick a different power of flapping. So as you can see over here, it says when we click, right now our bird flaps our normal amount. So let's say now we're going to make the bird flap a small amount. So let's see what happens then. Let's see if we can see the difference. As you can see, it's not going very high when we flap our bird. Um, so let's see if I can change this back. I'm gonna change it back to normal so everyone can see the difference. As you can see, my bird is going much higher than it did before. So now if I change back to small, as you can see, it's making much smaller jumps. And that's what I encourage everyone to do. I encourage everyone to play around with this and be able to see if you can kind of change how your Flappy Bird is moving. Okay, so if everyone wants to go ahead and try that, if you already haven't, please go ahead and feel free to try that out. And see if you can change the amount you can see your Flappy Bird flap. So I'm going to try to make it flap. Now let's see, a large amount. So try resetting that. So as you can see, your bird now jumps a lot higher. So that's what we want to go ahead and change. So hopefully everyone has been able to change that and kind of play around and have fun with that. So now if everyone has been able to do that, what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we're going to actually go to the next level. So, but if you want to go to the next level, what you can do is you can click this run button and complete the level. Let me try that again. Let's see if we can set into a smaller amount. And now you should be able to see that orange continue button. And if you couldn't see that pop up, what you can always do is you can go to the top and you can click on the eighth circle. And if you hover over it, it should say 8 mini project Flappy game. So now what we want to do is want to try to change the scene by attaching a block to the when run event. So this over here is the when run event, and by scene we mean the background over here. So as you can see, this is right now kind of a daytime background. There's kind of some, I guess, buildings in the background that is, and some trees as well. So what we want to do is we want to kind of make this our own a bit more, kind of personalize this and make this something that you made, so we can have kind of a game that you are proud of making. So in order to actually change the background image over here, what we're going to do is we're going to use the set scene function and drag it under the when run event. So when in the event that we run the game, our speed is going to be normal and the scene is going to be city night. And there's many other ones you can choose as well. You don't have to stick with city night. You can do underwater cave Santa. There's even like sci-fi. So go ahead and choose whatever one you want there. And as you can see, when I clicked play, the scene changed a different color. The background changed. And now, as you can see, I just lost there, but go ahead and see if you can try to fix that and try to change your background. I'm gonna now try sci-fi. Let's see. That's a cool one. So you can try this one. And you can try to see if you can play your game as well and see if you can get a high score. Um, okay, so I'm gonna give everyone a few moments to kind of play around with that and see if you can change the background um, with the when run event. Okay, so Hopefully, this is working good for everyone. And yeah, so just go ahead and see if you can kind of personalize this. There's definitely going to be more opportunities to do this later on as well. So don't worry if um, you weren't able to completely figure it out. And please do let me know in the chat if you were having any troubles or if you just wanted me to repeat something or if you just had any questions in general. So we're gonna now go on to the next exercise, and from here it gets a bit fun because we're now going to actually create the full game um, using everything that we've learned. So let's go ahead and click the, let's go ahead and see if we can go to the next level by clicking the next circle over here. So on the top of the screen, you want to go to the next circle, which says 10, and click on that. So now what we're going to do is instead of ending the game when the Flappy Bird hits the obstacle, we're going to set the score back to 0. So if I go over here um, and I show everyone what happened before, see if we can try setting this. Um, we're going to, I'm going to try to go through these obstacles here. And I'm going to see what happens. So one moment here. Okay, so as you can see, when I actually go through these obstacles, and the score is increasing as I'm kind of doing well at the game, each green thing I go through, you can see that there is actually the score is increasing. But then when I actually drop to the floor and I lose, the game just ends altogether. So it just says game over and it's pretty much done. Our game's pretty much done. But we're gonna try to change that. We're gonna try to change this a bit. So in order to actually change this, we're going to make the score 0, reset our score when we hit the ground or when we lose the game. So what we're going to do is we are going to um, go and reset the score. So to mix things up, instead of ending the game when the Flappy hits an obstacle, we're going to try setting the score back to 0. So in order to actually set the score back to 0, we're not going to use this end game block. So as you can see, there's an event that says when you hit an obstacle. So right now, what our code is saying is when we hit an obstacle, we end the game. But we don't want to end the game anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to just throw this block in the trash by just dragging it and just dropping it there. Now we're going to say when we hit an obstacle, we're going to set the score to 0. As you can see, there's a new function that's showed up over here. So we're going to set the score to 0. So now if we run this, let's see how far I can get in my game. I'm just going to try to go through a couple of these obstacles. And now, as you can see, I'm the score went to 0 when I hit an obstacle. So that's 2. Right now our score is 3. It's 4, 5. And now I'm going to go through an obstacle. As you can see, our score becomes 0. So if we hit the ground, the score is the game still ends because we have our code that way. We're going to say when hit the ground, end game. As you can see, the event says that right now in our code. But when we hit an obstacle, the game doesn't end. The score is just set to 0, which is what we are trying to do. So go ahead and see if you can try to set our score to 0 when we hit an obstacle. Um, you can try to experiment more. You can, of course, always change the flapping amount and the speed and then the scene as well, the background. So go ahead and see if you can try to change some of those things. But more importantly, try to make the score 0 when you hit an obstacle instead of just restarting the game. And please do let me know in the chat if you do have any questions or would even like to make any comments or say anything. Okay, so hopefully everyone has been able to make the score 0 when they hit the obstacle. So please let me know in the chat if you weren't able to do so, and I'd be more than happy to help you out there. But now let's continue. So let's just hit run one last time. I'm gonna try to lose this game. And now you should get this message that says, congratulations, you've completed puzzle 10. Go ahead, click the orange continue button. And now we are at kind of our final workshop tutoring session exercise. Um, so what we're going to do here is this is the part that we're going to kind of put together all the skills that we've used so far in our previous kind of exercises, and we're going to put them together to create your own flappy game that you are proud of creating. So what you're going to do is you can basically do anything. So make sure to look at the events. So these are five main events given. So the when run event, the when click event, when hit the ground event, when hit an obstacle event, and when pass obstacle event. So these are all events that help you decide what happens when something happens. So when you run your game, this all happens. When you click on the screen, this happens. When you hit the ground, this happens. When you hit an obstacle, this happens. When you pass an obstacle, this happens. And there is many more cool things, as you can see, that have been added. So you can even set the player. So let's see, when you run, let's see, if we drag a set player block under the when run, so when we run, let's try setting the player to the red bird. Let's see what happens. As you can see, our bird actually turns red. Um, so that's pretty cool. We can see that we can even change the players. We can change even the obstacles. So when we run, let's also try to set the obstacle to sci-fi. Let's see what happens there. So let's reset, let's run. As you can see, the obstacle is no longer that green pipe. There's this cool, I guess it's kind of like a gray and pink obstacle now. And you can see we can change so many other things as well um, using coding and using your events. So I'm going to go back here. And you can basically do anything you want. You can even change the gravity. That's pretty cool. So right now gravity is normal, but let's see what happens when we set our gravity to low. When gravity is low, as you can see, you would notice on your end that if you tried this out on your by yourself, but you would see that the gravity has become lower. So it's kind of your bird's a bit more flappy here. It's a bit more flexible and it's kind of harder to control. So go ahead and try to see if you can change those things. You can change the gravity, you can change kind of what you set the score to, change basically the background, your player even. You can change it to back guy. Let's see what happens when you do that. It's no longer a bird. As you can see, it's now kind of a bat guy as we changed it to. And yeah, so please go ahead and try to make this game your own. Use a lot of the event functions that we talked about, the when run, when hit the ground, and think of what would happen when you drag each thing under a block. So think of the stuff that makes sense for the block that you're putting it under. For example, you wouldn't put the end game block under the when run block because we don't want our game to end right when we've started it. So try to think of where your blocks over here on the side will belong underneath. Um, and see if you can try to figure it out. Um, think of, for example, when we click our screen, think of what we want our bird to do when we click our screen. We want it to flap a small amount, but when we click our screen, do we want it to score a point? Probably not. We don't probably would not want to score a point right when we click the screen. So think of how we can actually code this so it makes sense to what we're doing. And please let me know if you have any questions or something's not working out for you or um, you just need a little bit of assistance, and I'll be happy to help out. And while you guys are kind of exploring and experimenting with building your own game right now, your own game app right now, I want to just tell everyone that once you are done and you're happy with your final product, what you can do is there actually should be a place, yeah, over here. So you can click the share button, and if you click that share button, you should kind of get a link over here. And if you click it, you can copy the link. And uh, when you copy the link, what you can do is you can send it in the chat if you want. So we can all see that great game that you've built, or you can send it to me privately so I can check it out if you would like me to. But yeah, that's an optional thing if you guys would like to share your um, code to the class and share your game to the class. So, for example, if I this is my link over here, I will see if I can share that with everyone. So while I'm figuring that out, everyone, please go ahead and continue to try to experiment with this. Make this Flappy Bird game app your own. Try to do some cool things with it. Try to do whatever you can with it. So this is kind of a product that you're proud of, and you can go ahead and share the code in the chat the way I told you guys to, if you'd like to, by just clicking that share and clicking that copying the link, and then just putting it in the chat. And then if you want, I can display it to the class. I can just share the screen, display it to the class, and everyone can see the game you made if you would like to share that. But that's totally up to you. And of course, I definitely encourage everyone to even continue working on this even after this class ends if you want. Just to not only build a cool game, but to also get more comfortable with coding and kind of have um, a project that you're proud of that you made with coding. Something else that I wanted to tell everyone is if you guys found this too easy or you guys found this the right amount for you, please feel free to contact me at any time, even after this session. So you guys can actually ask me any questions about this or even anything in general regarding coding. And what I'll be able to do is I can kind of push you guys in the right direction and give you guys some more resources and fun problems and fun projects to work on that would suit where you want to be in coding right now. And I can always, you can always reach out to me and I can always help you out with that and give you some cool projects to work on similar to this as well. Yeah, so I see that we've approached 6 o'clock right now, so that's our scheduled tutoring session time. So if you want, you can feel free to leave the session, or you can stick around for a bit if you have any questions or would like me to check something out. Um, but with that, thank you so much, everyone, for attending this tutoring session. I really hope everyone enjoyed learning how to build your own Flappy game app. And I hope everyone continues to code and continues to learn how to code, because this is not only such an important skill, but it's very fun as well. As you can see, there's a lot of cool things you can do, like building these kinds of games, or you can basically do anything you want. So please feel free to continue coding even after this session as well. And feel free to reach out to me too, as I said before, if you have any questions or something comes to mind after a bit later that you forgot to ask me right now. And with that, thank you so much, everyone, once again for coming today. I hope everyone has a great rest of their weekend. Um, and yeah, thank you, everyone. Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye. Okay, so yeah, I see that someone's actually put their code in the chat. I mean, let's see if we can check that out. Check that game out. So this is someone in the class's game that they made right now. Yeah, it's really cool. So the score sets to 0 once we hit the obstacle. And yeah, this is a really cool game. This is really cool that you guys were able to build this. So thank you so much for sharing that. Um, and if anyone else wants to as well, you can feel free to go ahead. So all right, everyone. So if there's no other questions or nothing else that anyone would like to share, um, we're going to now end this session. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. I hope everyone enjoyed. Um, if you didn't have the opportunity to share your app today, right now, you can always contact me. You can always email me with it, and I'll be happy to look at it for you. Um, so thank you, everyone, and I hope to see you guys in a future tutoring session as well. Thank you and bye.